Welcome to the Beacon House Podcast, recorded live in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Hello, welcome back to Beacon House, everybody. How's it going? Happy New Year. I think the last time you heard from us was probably the end of last year, end of 2022. And so Beacon House is back to help you usher in 2023. And before we get too far into it, I would like to say hey to my co-host, Grace Steele. How you doing?
I'm doing really well. Hey, Spencer.
We are both back in 2023, and we are ready to rock your socks off. Or whatever a podcast does. We're here to tickle your perineum. We are here to shiver your timbers.
We're here to help you pucker your butthole.
We're here to diddle your skittle.
Tickle your fancy.
That's right. That's right.
No kink shame again.
No kink shaming at all, unless it's not with consent or underage.
Of course. But is that even a kink?
I don't know. I guess. Who knows what all kinks go.
Perverts.
But yeah, dude. So how have you been? How's things? How's 2023 so far? We're only like 3 weeks.
So
in.
far, it's been super quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. It hasn't. I mean, obviously, from what I just said, I feel like it's February already. But it's quiet. It's good. Not a lot's happening. This weather's killing my skin. I can't deal with it's warm, cold, warm, cold. Have you noticed it was like 67 degrees last week at one point?
Yeah.
And then it got freezing and it even snowed.
Yeah.
Like Thursday or Friday. And now it's just raining and what's the temperature today? I think it's like 64 degrees.
Yeah.
I can't handle this.
Also, there's a particular condition today, which I will explain. I saw on the way here, I saw my neighbor outside and I was like, hey man, how you doing? And he was like, hey. And I was like, how you liking this 65 degree January? And he goes, I'd like it a lot better if it wasn't misting all this pissy little rain everywhere. And I was like, fucking hey, dude, he's right. Because this is that rain where you have to turn your wipers on and off, but you can't leave them on, even at the
because
lowest
it makes
setting.
that annoying scrape sound.
But if you don't
enough.
put them on, you still get this weird, it's like somebody's on top of your car just spitting on your window. And me and my ex, we had a funny joke about that. We used to call it Bambi on ice because the wipers you can only turn them on every now and then. And it looks like a baby deer that can't find its feet and it can't stand up and it's just misting. And so we would always call that shitty rain Bambi on ice.
Bambi on ice. That's a good one. I agree. This misting, this rain is just, it's not for it.
Yeah. I
do enjoy that it's not freezing.
Yeah, that sucked.
I'm really hoping that spring comes soon.
Yeah, same. Usually, the older I get, I feel like I'm the goddamn farmer's almanac, but I feel like...
Let me look back, 30 years, what was...
Yeah, I have all these weird yearly things that I remember. I remember somehow I feel like every Halloween, the week, October is usually pretty nice till the very last week, and that's when it gets cold and it rains
Halloween,
a lot.
Freezing and
rainy. And then for some reason, I feel like it always rains on the 4th of July, even for just a minute. But that could just be summer.
That's just the humidity in July.
The exploding humidity.
That's when the rain starts coming.
Dude,
do you remember how? And I remember now in February. It's been the last couple of years. We have massive flooding in February. You remember that horrible flood 3 years ago, where it washed a bunch of shit away. It was devastating. It was really bad. But it's happened every February for the last 4 years where we've had really bad flooding.
Yes, my buddy Troy Lewis, shout out Troy Lewis, was the drummer in my first band, Still Life Opera. He lives over in Cedar Bluff, and they have a huge backyard, but the way it was situated, it just turned into a big floodplain, and they called it, his last name is Lewis, they called it Lake Lewis. But yeah, dude, what else? I'm trying to think what else. February, a lot of times, I always and don't get me wrong, I like the snow. I don't like dealing with ice and snow-covered roads and all that sort of shit, but usually if you can get through February and the beginning of March, you're pretty good. Usually if you can make it to spring break, you're not going to have any the kind of weather that fucking stops you from doing things. Mm-hmm. Rain's inconvenient sometimes, sure, and a little bit of snow is pretty, but when you get to where you can't drive and stores run out of stuff and all this shit. Like,
it's not fun anymore.
Yeah,
it's not like I'm a little kid and I'm like, oh yay, no school. It's like, fuck, I can't get some fucking bread.
Yeah,
I need some cigarettes. Where's the beer? I'm out of alcohol.
I've got a to-do list. I had today to get this done and now I can't.
Dang it, the bank's closed.
Yeah, shit like that.
I'm late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
being an adult.
Some fucking assholes on Facebook like, I love when it snows. I wish it snowed all the time.
Look, snow day. Make it a fucking snowman.
Bro, when I
need to go pay my phone bill.
Yeah.
My dog needs dog food.
Yeah, dude. When I look at that, I think that motherfucker didn't have anything to do today. So anyway, but
isn't that nice?
Not to be a Grinch about that. I tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and go, since I'm already ranting a little bit.
Go right ahead.
I'm going to go ahead and get into I've got one thing here. Well, I've got a couple things, but the first thing I want to talk about, this is a absolutely, and Grace, you understand a lot of types of music. You have a very wide musical palette. You understand everything from jazz to classical, like you're a trained dancer, but you also understand the romance and the community and the absolute, like, what a wonderful community. The metal community.
Yes, the metal community is a beautiful community to be part of.
Yes, and I think maybe
it's very passionate.
Super passionate, totally inclusive. Like, they're just like a bunch of great people that just
Teddy bears.
Wonderful people. Like, regardless
that wear a lot of black.
Wear a lot of black. Maybe some corpse paint. But
some studs.
But like, you'll never find a more accepting, cooler group of people than like the metal community.
Definitely, they're very open-minded.
And it's a wonderful place to be. And I've always had like roots in that community. And like, I don't like every metal band, but just I'm just here to say the metal community in general is a bunch of fucking cool people, and they get written off a lot of times because maybe they I don't know, there's some fringe, like maybe it's just not your typical guy. A lot of times it's like the island of misfit toys. It's where people go when they don't fit into like the popular crowd, or like, which fuck those crowds anyway, like the crowds that look cool on Instagram or whatever. Like, it's just where like a lot of real people go. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of talent in it, and there's a lot of like creativity, and there's just a lot of great things in it. And I understand that it can be misunderstood, and I understand if you have no background in metal at all, and all of a sudden you see a band like Lorna Shore, you're probably you would just be like, "What the fuck am I watching?" And it's shocking, and it could be a little bit. I get that. Mm-hmm. I get that, and I'm not saying you have to love metal, but as far as the people,
they're a really good group of people.
They are.
I like them.
Super loyal, super faithful, and super fucking great. That doesn't mean there's not a clunker. There's always a bad apple in the bunch. Like, I'm not saying if your friend's into metal, he's automatically a great guy. No, he's got to do good things to be a good guy. But I've had great experiences in the metal community. What I'm getting at with all this, there was a recent talk show. I want to say it was an English talk show, Graham Norton maybe, and they had a bunch of actors up on like 4 actors on the couch. And one of the actors was Cate Blanchett, who's like a classically trained, very famous actress,
she's beautiful. She's been in tons. She's an amazing actress.
Amazing actress.
A bunch of awards.
Tons of awards. And then next to her was Margot Robbie, who everybody knows now.
She's still a great actress. Amazing.
Been in a ton of bang out movies. And then there was a couple other people. But they were, for some reason, the conversation, and you can look this up. There's clips of this all over the internet. And I actually saw this from a publication called Metal Injection, and they run stories about all kinds of stuff. But apparently, they were talking about people's background, and Margot Robbie was talking about how she used to be like, she had like a goth phase, and she was just like dyed her hair black, and like was just like super into it, and like she used to she claims like still to this day she likes going to like Slipknot concerts and stuff like that. And Cate Blanchett turns to her and straight up goes, "Does anyone really like heavy metal? I mean, is it really?" And and to her credit, Margot Robbie handled it with a lot of class. And she just goes, "Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I still love it, and I love going to those shows." And like, yeah, like it's the people that I meet at and she tells a story about when she was on like an Australian soap opera, and she went to a Slipknot concert. How many of the Slipknot fans were actually engaged about the soap opera, and they wanted to know like who's getting killed off next month? Is the person going to find their baby? Like it was just like this endearing, which is just about everybody's experience. But she took it real well. But I was fucking livid at how condescending Cate Blanchett was about somebody that was like might like heavy metal and like how she just wrote it off like if you like heavy metal, you're like the third class on the Titanic kind of a thing, you know. And I wanted to be like, you know, like the last like 18 movies that Margot Robbie's been in have been fucking slayers, like box office top. Like if you saw Babylon, Jesus fucking Christ.
I'm waiting to see it. I can't wait.
Oh, I can't
wait to see it.
I
can't wait to see Amsterdam. I haven't seen that one either.
I saw both of them. I saw Amsterdam on demand. I saw Babylon in the theater, and I would definitely watch Babylon.
Can't wait for Barbie.
I don't know how to feel about that because I'm a dude, but
I know. I got it. It's still going to be
probably going to be
Will Ferrell's in it.
Dude, but like, if you like, all I'm saying, I'm not trying to compare, and obviously, like, Cate Blanchett has like this massive like history of like she's on her way to being like
she's the sophisticated.
Yes, but the last movie she did, I didn't see it. It was called Tar. She plays like an orchestra director. What I heard that it was a turd. I heard people that went to it were like, I'll never get that 2.5 hours of my life back. What the fuck? Like, but I'm just saying, man, if you generally watch most of the movies Margot Robbie's been in, they're fucking killers.
Yeah.
Like,
you're not saying they're crap or they're definitely not like, you know, flops.
Kind of what I'm saying is I kind of wish Margot Robbie would have told Cate Blanchett, hey bitch, why don't you shut the fuck up until you do a good movie and don't worry about my fucking record collection, you know? In fact, I'm going to loan you some Metallica albums so maybe your next movie won't be a fucking dud and go straight to on demand, bitch. Anyway, I probably shouldn't take that tone because I've liked Cate Blanchett in a lot of stuff. But that's fucked up.
That is fucked up.
That's to I'm.
Does she not understand? Like metal is a sophisticated genre. Like it's not.
I would like to go. What particular qualities about classical music do you find more sophisticated than the intricacies of a band like Origin or a band like Animals as Leaders or like? You clearly can't say that classically trained musicians are better players anymore. That's obviously demonstrably not true. Mm-hmm. Like some of the people that are playing metal are absolutely at the peak of human capability. Mm-hmm. Like they're at the edge of what's possible with 10 fingers.
Yeah.
There's no way you can say like there's not a sophisticated thing. It just happens to be louder, more aggressive, more rapid, but you can't I don't know. Like maybe that just means you like the people who listen to like.
Sounds to me that she's ignorant and naive, and she doesn't know anything about it, and so she's scared.
Yeah.
Which is usually what when people do hate on something, that's what it is. They're terrified. They're ignorant. They don't know They don't know anything about something.
Yeah. Or
so
she doesn't know how to
write it off and be like, because they perceive what they want to see in it.
Yeah, and she probably doesn't know how to relate to anybody that's not wearing a fucking pantsuit.
Probably not. That's fucking beige. Some sort of brown color caramel with some ballet flats.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She probably doesn't know how to deal with anybody that's wearing a black t-shirt instead of a brooch.
She has like the thinnest lips I've ever seen in my life. Like she has no lips.
Really? I don't know about that.
It's like always the same, like her lips are the same color as her face. Whenever I see her, like that's what it is. It's like so, like all these females are out here getting like fillers. She needs a filler.
Like you can't tell where the mouth is.
You just can't tell, and they're like literally the same color as her skin. So it's just like the same, which is sad because like she was in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Yeah, and she's beautiful. She's even in The Hobbit.
Man,
and she's great.
I think I've watched her in movies before.
She is great.
And was like,
I will say a lot of the movies, besides those where she's been like the lead, her movies really aren't. They don't even touch.
Probably because you can't tell where her lips are. I didn't know. That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's how I feel about it. I'll have to show you after.
Just because somebody punched a hole in a cantaloupe, like you don't know.
Basically.
Fuck, man.
Her eyebrow, there's no color to it.
So from Beacon House to Cate Blanchett, hey, why are you so mad about metal, bro? And also, why are you all washed out looking? Like, why?
Stop wearing brown.
God damn, dude. Oh man,
put some red on them lips.
Fuck off. That was my big rant. What else? Oh, tell you what, you've got some crazy stuff to talk about.
A little bit. So I've been watching this show called The Devil You Know. So it's on Hulu. There's only 2 seasons. Vice is the creator and producer of it. It's really great. The objective is like cults, evil people that like are able to get people to do evil things.
Yeah.
So the first one, so mind you, I've been having like, now that I'm not working 3 jobs, I've had a lot of time on my hands to do things. So let me pull this up here. First season is about a guy in North Carolina named Pazuzu Algarad.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. So first off, his real name is John Lawson.
Okay.
He's born in, he's from North Carolina in a small town. Like right outside where, what's that university?
In North
Clemson.
Carolina? Okay.
Wherever, yeah. Close there. So he's dead now because he went to prison. He killed himself in prison and they never found, he bled to death and they never found the weapon, but they supposedly, a theory is he had filed his teeth down, not in prison, his teeth, he did this like while he was killing people, and he chewed through his arm.
Oh my!
And he bled to death.
God.
Okay, but this guy was like, he's been in like mental institutions. He's like sick. Like he was a freshman in high school at 18.
Holy crap!
Like he just like hated his life, like he didn't feel loved, like he was abusive towards his mother, like, and he was like one of like fucking tattoos on his face, and he believed that filth brought him more power from the devil, from darkness.
Jesus.
And so like he would like wouldn't bathe, then he would rub like animal feces on him and shit. Yeah. So he had like a couple fiancées, women, but he would do human sacrifices. And he would kill these people and bury them in their backyard and get other people to help him bury so that they were accomplices, and he would threaten them. So it like became, and these women and other started like believing. So the thing is, some of his friends and people who knew about this, like knew about him shooting someone, they went to the police. It was like a huge, like story in the newspaper about like how the police were like at fault and like they needed to be investigated, because for years and years, for 5 years, different people kept going at different times to be like, hey, this guy Pazuzu shot and killed this guy. His body's in the backyard. His own mother even went to the police station and was like, this man was in my house. I saw him dead on my floor and my son had the gun. Like, they never investigated. What? They apparently one time they sent dogs in the backyard, or they did an investigation to search, said they never found anything. There's like 2 bodies in there. And like the blood was like stained under the carpet and the flooring. Like all these people knew about it, but no one did anything about it in this small town. And so they just let it keep going. And so he had these beautiful women just turn into like these like creatures of filth. Ugh. Like that's like they literally like wouldn't bathe. They said like you could walk onto their yard and immediately they're like, this is what death smells like. Oh. They said that the house, the porch, everything, it just reeked of death. And when the police had to go in there, they took his friend. Like one of his best friends ratted him out, like kept going to the police, and there he was like, I had to do this. He was my friend, but like he has to be stopped. Like this is insane. Like he just thinks he's invincible and no one's going to touch him. And he was just like, he shot a blind black man in the back, and like and he got like 8 years of probation for it. And that was it. It was a mistake. It was an accident. It was like
talk about shortcomings of the justice system. Yeah,
it was just like the whole thing's fucked up. So he like built this cult, and like it was disgusting, and he had and he literally believed. Oh, he changed his name from John Lawson to Pazuzu because in Arabic it means the god of locusts. So he like wanted to be a demon, like he wanted to be possessed.
I wanted to say that name sounded familiar to me, and the reason why, because in the sequel to The Exorcist, and I haven't seen that movie in years, but when I was a kid, I saw it, and there was a scene with all these locusts, and I remember that the demon's name was like Pazuzu.
Yeah.
Or something. So I have heard of that. What the fuck though?
Yeah, so he like changed his name legally, so like all during like court and so he killed himself before he could even go to trial. Like he was in jail, like sitting in the institution for I guess it was like a year or two. And this was back. He did all this started in 2010. Killed himself, like got caught in 2015, and I think in 2016, 2017 he killed himself. So then his two girls who were his fiancées, they got charged. Like they had to take the fall for it,
like accomplice to murder or whatever.
Yeah, take the first degree murder, and it was like a whole thing. But like when it came out that his like his mom lived in that house with him, like it was disgusting. So this is a picture of him.
Oh man,
doesn't he just look evil?
Yeah, he looks fucked up.
Like it's just.
You guys should all Google the guy.
Pazuzu Algarad.
How do you spell the first name?
It is, let's see, Pazuzu, last name Algarad, Algarad.
Yeah, everybody Google that if you want to see a fucking disturbed guy.
If you have Hulu, watch. It's called The Devil You Know. And and I binge watched it in one day, and it was just sick. Like, and his friend, like, they got this couple on there. They're just shooting up heroin the whole time, like, and they knew about it. They were friends, God. And like, it was just like all these people are now fucked up because like they knew about it, but the police weren't doing anything to like fix it. So like they feel responsible. Yeah, the second season is about a woman named Sherry Shriner, and she apparently thinks that she's a prophet from God, and she's a direct descendant from King David.
Holy shit.
And that she's like here to battle the forces of evil and to gather. And so she basically has like a YouTube channel. No one can find like a picture of her or anything these days. She was in Cleveland. Like she has one photo. That's like one photo that she has of her on the internet. Like you can't find anything else about her. I tried Googling her. Anyway, so she like started this, like having all these followers, which it was basically just people from different areas of the world and country just sending donations. Like they didn't have member cards. They didn't meet. Like they didn't come to her. They just listened to her podcast and her YouTube channel and watched her videos. And she would talk about how like Taylor Swift and Miley Cyrus is a reptilian. Anyways, two of her followers end up dead. And so it became like a huge story. Everyone's trying to figure out who this lady is. Like, going on.
That sounds like a cult. I mean, that's a cult.
Yeah, it's literally a cult. Like she's getting people to follow her and send her money to like so she can pay her bills. But she like, and if you like say that she's a false prophet, because I guess one of her followers like called her out because someone posted, like their wife posted that they liked the taste of raw meat. Ugh. Or something, and they were like, if you've never tried it, I think it's like a delicacy somewhere or whatever. And this Shriner lady was like, she's a lizard person, she's not real, she's a shapeshifter, you're blinded, only demons and lizards like raw meat. And so the husband, who was a follower, was like, put like this Oregon that the lady had created that's supposed to like defeat evil, put it all over his wife and he was like, nothing's happening. Like, you're not true. This is fake. This isn't real. Started calling her out, trying to hire private investigators to find her, to like get pictures and videos of her of like doing things that she's not supposed to. And she just like let all hell. What ended up happening is that man died. Like somehow like his wife and him, like it was like a suicide murder or something. I don't know. It's insane. Like these people, like, but they really, and one girl was in college and she truly believed it. She thought that if she killed herself, like she was actually traveling to fight evil, but she would come back.
Oh, motherfucker.
It's just unbelievable at what these out there conspiracies, everything, these people, it's like, what kind of people fall for that? It's like a lot of them are intelligent. Like, are they lonely? Like, are they
lost?
Do they have schizophrenia? Like, what's going on?
I know.
I mean, to have 20,000 followers where they're sending her money and they're ordering Oregon. They look like hockey pucks. And you hang them around your house and shit.
Dude.
And it wards off. I feel like if I touched one, I'd burn in flames.
Well, I don't know. I've known people who were super intelligent, but were just so like searching for something. They just didn't have like a core set of like beliefs or morals or whatever keeps people grounded. Basically, whatever keeps you from like sending that bitch money. The thing that would keep me or you or most of the people we know from like buying that shit, because you just don't feel like you need it, and why would I even look in? That's so obviously fake. I'm fine over here.
Yeah.
Some people just don't have that. Somewhere they're just so searching for something to attach themselves to like be a part of. Like even smart people sometimes have been marginalized by society to where they're just like looking for the next.
You think they're just so smart that they think they figured it out and they cracked something, so like they're part of something that's bigger, and we're just sheep and they're the lions that know the truth, which to me is just absurd.
Definitely.
to think that, like, I get it. Taylor Swift has taken over the world. She's got Swifties. Like, it's amazing, right? She is not a reptile. Like, I was watching her videos and she's like, look at how her eyes changed. And Miley Cyrus, and I was like, dude, that's fucking contacts.
You've watched this girl grow up on television. Like, I remember seeing her when she was like literally a teenager, and she was doing the country music thing with Def Leppard.
Yeah.
And they performed together. Like, you've seen her a little, like, whatever. But I do think what you said is exactly right. I think these people think they're so smart. They're like, well, I'm seeing something that the normal people can't see. Like,
I'm not a sheep. They are like
Yeah.
that. It's just amazing to me. I'm not saying like the Illuminati is not real and like the secret societies and like the 1%. I'm not saying like none of that's real. Like, you know, who knows what these powerful men and women are doing, these 1%ers. But I don't think like reptilians are taking over human bodies and they're becoming human to destroy humankind. Like, that's not.
You kind of got to look like, I mean, and conspiracy theories can be fun, I guess. Like sometimes you go,
I enjoy talking about them.
yeah, like pulling back the curtain to see what's going. Me and my friends have always been like completely. I don't even know if I should talk about this on the podcast, but I'm gonna. Fuck you.
Do it.
Fuck you, Cate Blanchett.
Man, you started this whole thing.
We've always been like really kind of like fascinated by the Masons and like the Masonic culture, and how come nobody really knows what they do, and if you even know,
secret.
If you even know one, like I've had friends who had family members that were Mason, like high-ranking Masons, and they wouldn't tell their kids what they did. They wouldn't tell their wives what they did. They would just go, "Oh, we just get together and like cook," and they kind of just brush it off. But none of those buildings have windows. Supposedly, there's this massive ritualistic side to it. It's crazy. So, again, please, if you're a Mason, don't be offended by this. You guys look incredibly secretive.
Very intriguing. And I think that's another thing that about secret societies and what people get intrigued is like it feels like because it is a secret, and they feel like they're a part of something, and it's so exclusive, and so they're special and they're different, and it's like,
who doesn't like a good secret,
right? Like, who does? Like, when you're a little kid, like, you know, like no boys allowed in the clubhouse, like stuff like that. You know, like growing up, like you're taught like having a club and a secret is so important and everything, but you get sucked into like these cults, like this Pazuzu and this Shriner.
You start
woman.
talking crazy at some point. At some point, you start to sound a little crazy.
Like, yeah, like you need someone to check you out.
Somebody needs to check you. Like, hey, man,
this isn't real. And I feel bad for the people that are like following, and still to this day, there are followers of her that still believe these things. And it's just like, that is it really puts it in perspective, because I don't necessarily know. I'm sure I walk amongst people like this every day, but I don't know it. But I don't know these people in my daily life. Like, I couldn't imagine if any of my friends came to me, like this girl that committed suicide thinking she was going to go away, and she came to me and she was like, I think that we are actually angels and we're supposed to, like, I would be like, calling your mom and your dad, and we're gonna figure this out, because you're obsessing over something, and that's not true. Like, I can tell you right now, if I cut myself, I'm dying, and I'm either going to another place or my energy is just fading back into this world.
But when you start to become, you might be dangerous to yourself
and others.
Yeah, that's when you kind of got to step in. I think that's when an intervention is appropriate. But no, I feel the same way. You never know. You never know who you're sitting next to on the fucking bus, or in the airplane or whatever, or at the
like I'm serving at Smoky Mountain. Like you've no idea what these people are thinking, and it's in some of these the thought to rub feces on you and that gives you powers from the darkness blows my mind.
Yeah,
that's disgusting.
Well, and man, I'll tell you another thing too. As I get older, like I said, I turn into like a farmer's almanac. But the thing about, dude, the one thing, so aging is not glamorous in many ways. Your fucking joints start hurting. You just don't look cool anymore after a point, like there's a lot of stuff. But the amount of knowledge you just gain by being in the world for another 10 years and another 10 years is so much, so like, it's so much better than all that like fleeting vanity and the stuff that you enjoy. Again, now, being young is fucking awesome. It's great. It feels great and it is great. But you just learn things as you get older. And when you start to learn, when people say crazy shit like that, when somebody goes, hey, if you like poop all over yourself and then say like a crazy incantation and pray to like the dark gods, you'll gain all this power.
Don't wash it off.
Don't wash it off. Or what, and that, just whatever outlandish, like if I light candles in a certain order, then my house will be protected from reptile people. And like, here's the thing. You just start to learn like, humanity is kind of always, I'm not going to explain this very well. Humanity always washes out in the same direction. Like, if it really was possible, if that was really possible for people to gain power by pooping on themselves,
wouldn't more people be doing it?
Everybody'd be doing it. Everybody would be doing it.
It wouldn't be a secret.
You wouldn't be able to keep that a secret. People because people do crazier shit than that to try to get power. Like, people do terrible things to try and get power. But because that's free. If you could become all powerful for free, people would do it. A lot of that, you have to kind of measure when people start saying crazy shit. You have to kind of go, okay, that might be true, but let's look at that. Like, how would you be the only person who knows, or you in this one YouTube page that knows, and how like. You couldn't keep a thing like that secret. It just wouldn't happen. Eventually, you kind of got to look at like the world and see how this weird, crazy information you're getting fits into the world. It doesn't mean you have to believe everything you're told. And I encourage everybody to be skeptical and to be a critical thinker and like don't just believe whatever you're handed.
Be open-minded though.
Yes. But when you start hearing some crazy shit like I'm going to go kill my parents and I'm going to then kill myself and I'm going to go away to a star and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to be powerful if I keep rubbing shit all over myself. And like at some point you go, hey, hold on a minute. This doesn't check out. Like these things, we know for a fact that if you do some of those things, you're going to die or you're going to get arrested or.
Yeah, you're going to go to prison and you're not going to have all this.
Some of the shit is not checking out. So.
Yeah, it's not. Speaking of like young, is this? I didn't tell you I was going to bring this up. I wasn't thinking I was going to. So there was, I don't know if you on the news. It's been all over the news. Deadly crash on Magnolia yesterday.
No, I don't know about it.
Absolutely devastating. It's horrible. So basically, 2 people are charged yesterday for drag racing on Magnolia. They were racing in a orange Charger and one was in a red Charger, and they're like 20, 21 years old, okay? Mind you, school was in yesterday, okay? It wasn't a holiday. They were back from MLK Day, all right? If you're racing on a busy known street, school gets out at 3:30, elementary school gets out at 2:45. Okay, these people were drag racing, ran a red light, smashed into a white Ford Explorer that was an older gentleman was driving, and 2 young children. Yeah. The gentleman has passed away, and the children are in critical care at a hospital.
Fuck.
And they are sitting, the 2 people that were racing the other car ran the red light, and killed them, and they are now in jail. One of them's still in the hospital. But they're 20 years old. Like, they, first of all, I don't know what 20-year-old needs to have a Dodge, something that strong. That's a very strong vehicle to be driving. Yeah. Which I understand there's a lot of people that they know how to handle it, but you have to think about their brain hasn't, I guess, been able to develop or process like all the risks that they just took. Like they're having fun in the middle of daylight on a busy road, ran a red light and killed someone, and potentially these children may die.
Yeah, dude.
Why did they have, what were they thinking? What were they doing? What was the point of that? I remember back in my day, I had friends that would go drag racing, right? There's nothing wrong with young people having fast cars. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, you just need to be smart and be able to handle, you know, the risk that comes with that. I don't drive fast cars anymore because I got 12 speeding tickets, and I don't need them. But we used to go on Clinton Highway. Like, that was the place to drag race. But they did it at night where the roads weren't busy. This is in the middle of the day, and school is letting out.
Man, I remember as a teen, I had a lot of friends that were into souping up their cars, and I think a lot of guys probably have that experience. But I knew girls that drove souped up cars too. Not as many. There were maybe 2 or 3 girls we knew that had like crazy, like one girl had like an actual muscle car. The other girls had like souped up like foreign cars with like nitrous and shit on them. But man, I don't know. When you're young, there's something really appealing about that.
Going fast,
or just risk just looks sexy on this side of it, not on the other side. But then when something happens like that, it changes your entire life and perspective. Like, you just think like, oh my God, I can't believe I even thought that would be a good idea to drag race. And like, now I've killed this guy and like, I'm going to be in jail. Or just that's the price of regret is.
Yeah. You're not a bad person. I think they're idiotic.
Yeah.
They're not old enough. They're not old enough to understand like what they were doing. If it was me, I would have been thinking now at 35, being like, well, school's about to let out. I'm on a busy street. Maybe I shouldn't, because that could have been a school butt. Like,
yeah. And maybe they were showing off for somebody, who knows, man. People have weird reasons for doing stupid shit. The human race is, sadly, I hate to say it, the human race is famous for showing off and screwing up when they show off.
Oh, I've been saying we're a discussing species to begin with.
But, man, like, I mean, I know what it's like to be a young, stupid kid and take a lot of risks. But now looking at it, like kind of like you were saying, like, you almost have to kind of look like, who gave them that car? Like, and again, there's no reason casting blame. I mean, obviously there was a lot of decisions that were made, but like, it's the same reason you don't like hand a knife to a baby. You know, they just can't handle that responsibility.
That's what I'm saying. Like, who? That's so much power.
I think you want a kid that's like, and you know your kids. Everybody out there, you know your kids. Mm-hmm. Look at your fucking kids. What are they doing? Are they crazy? Like, are they breaking shit? Are they taking a lot of risks?
Are they joning Colts?
Are they nuts? If they are, don't buy them a fucking souped up Dodge Charger that can like crash into and kill a school bus full of people. Don't do it. Get them something that has trouble. Get them a used piece of shit that has trouble off the start, that stalls when it goes over 50. Like, you know what I mean? Like, find a way to like try to at least scoop some of the odds in the favor of safety until they learn to be safe. You know,
I mean, who knows? They could have bought the car themselves, you know? Because, I mean, they're 20. I don't know what 20-year-old is able to afford a $50,000 car.
But maybe. I remember
perhaps that, you know, is the case. But still, like, it's just sad because, and, you know, how it hits at home is I know the person whose family that is.
Fuck.
And it's, you know, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
You know, it's heartbreaking to see that, and it kind of just been like, it just hits a little close to home. And I remember when I was young, I used to, you know, I've been in cars with my boyfriends as they're racing, of course, but it was always in a structured, you know, controlled setting. Yeah. Like, it wasn't like in the middle of broad daylight at the busiest time where there's, you know, a high school and an elementary school that have just let out within 15 minutes.
Yeah. Man, I don't know, dude. I think you just got to be careful. I tell you what, man, like the first time, I tell you what will make you not be a shitty driver is like the first time you're like behind on your bills. You know, the first time you realize I can't afford a fucking ticket. I can't afford like to lose my license. I can't afford to pay somebody else's medical bills. Like these are risks that are totally not worth taking. Like you get I don't know, man. Like I tell a lot of people, I have a lot of employees now that are like 18 to 28, in that area. And like a lot of them are like kind of just starting to drive. And I always tell them, I go, look, dude, if you learn right now to drive like a fucking grandma, if you learn to defensive drive, if you really learn to be super careful and don't fucking speed, don't fucking take chances, like if you can learn that now, you will save yourself so much money over the course of like the next 20 years of your life. And I know nobody at 18 gives a fuck what their life is going to be like at 40.
No, not even thinking about it.
But dude, if the habits you develop at 20 determine what your life is like at 40, and
try explaining that to a 10-year-old.
You can't. But
I'm trying,
dude. I just can't. And that's if you don't hit somebody and kill somebody, or like you don't have a big crazy. There are worse things that could happen than just having a lot of speeding tickets, or like money, or insurance rates and stuff, or having to buy a new car every 2 years because you wreck it. Like you know those people that their cars always just smash to fuck,
always,
because they wreck every week because they just suck at driving, because
they just don't pay attention.
Yeah,
and I think it's just, and it just comes with age, maturity, learning, life. Because you couldn't tell me anything when I was 18.
Same,
like there's nothing. I knew everything. I knew to be careful. I know not to take risks. Still did it though.
I was worse at like 17 and a half. At 17 years old, I thought I knew fucking everything. I mean, I was a holy terror. And I remember the day I turned 18, I kind of got I got scared because I was like, holy shit, I'm an adult. Like I have to do adult things. I can go to adult jail. Like I was just kind of like,
Oh, adult jail is so much fun. Yee! They give you 3 meals a day though.
Fuck.
Which is what these now 20-year-olds are going to be experiencing. And they have to live with this regret in their life. And I'm sure they're beating themselves up and they feel horrible because they're not bad people. Their intention wasn't to harm anyone. They just had the lack of experience and wisdom and maturity to be able to assess the risk that they were about to take. Yeah. I mean, I'm all for thrill seeking. Like, I love it. Like I thrive in chaos. But now that I'm older, like I assess those risks and, well, is this going to happen? What about this? Maybe this isn't the best time and we should wait till later.
Yeah.
Not saying anyone should be drag racing on any busy street, but assess the situation.
Yeah, if you're going to drive a little crazy, at least do it on a vacant road, and make sure that you know the road you're driving on.
And do it at a time that's not that doesn't have a bunch of people on. And
you still may or may not get nailed by the cops. You may get a speeding ticket, so that you can roll the dice on that. I mean, if you're willing to be like, that's kind of like, where are you at on the whole seatbelt thing? Because I know a lot of people that are just like, who gives a fuck if I wear a seatbelt? It's my life. I should be up to me.
I totally think that seatbelts save life and you should wear them. Now, do I wear my seatbelt on a regular basis? No.
Right, and a lot of people are like, they're
But I make my kid wear hers every time we get into the vehicle. My mom makes sure that my seatbelt is on every time I'm in the vehicle with her.
Yeah. I know a lot of people that are kind of like, look, why is it illegal for me not to wear it? It's like, it should be my choice whether or not to wear it. It only affects me as long as the other people in the car have theirs on. And I understand that. Kind of the same thing. Like if the road is straight, there's nobody to hit, and you're speeding a little bit, you roll the dice on whether or not you get that ticket. Like, should it be? I mean, I understand. Like, that's an assumed risk. You go, well, you know what? I'm willing to take responsibility for whatever happens here because it's just me. Like, there's nobody here for me to hit. There's no,
Yeah, but in this situation, it's not just you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not just you. So. So I didn't know I was going to bring that up, but I was reading about it today and it kind of hit at home because I know the person whose it's part of his family and they just lost due to some stupid decisions and choices, judgment calls that, were lacking. So, and it's like, you have to think of who could have prevented it, but now there's really nothing you can do because it's happened. It's there. So now it's just making, let's teach and do better.
Yeah.
Let's just do better.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like, it sucks to find out that way, like what irresponsible behavior leads to. It sucks to find out when you're actually already in jail and you go, oh fuck, I shouldn't do that stuff. Like it's a lot better if you can listen and you teach your kids to listen or get a report. Like I don't know, man. Like, I'm not a parent, so I'm not obviously never gonna coach people on how to parent. I know there's a lot of tricks and secrets, and it just doesn't seem as easy as it looks from the outside. I get that, and I want to make that really clear. But I do know that regardless of all that, like how you do it, I know there's a need for us to be able to have a rapport with our kids. Like you need to get to a place where you can tell your kids something and they trust you. Like you go, look, dude, I know it's exciting to like, whatever. Like I know all the other kids in the class say they're doing it. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. But you really need to be careful because this is what can happen. And everybody thinks it's not going to happen to me, but everybody that it happened to thought that also.
Right.
So you really got to be careful. Like I just, however you can get your kids to listen.
And this just goes back to like what we were talking about, be spectacle.
Be a spectacle. I have often.
A skeptic. There we go.
Yeah, be skeptical.
Yeah, not a spectacle. Be skeptical.
You know what? Be a spectacle. Okay, I tell you what. Let's lead that. We'll wrap up with this story here. My final story. Speaking of a spectacle, we're going to go back in time a little bit. I just found this out. And I am over the moon about this story. Okay.
Okay.
So
I'm ready.
Back in time a little bit. You may recall, and I guess this was the 90s. This was definitely the 90s. There was a massive rise in popularity of Lauryn Hill and her band, the Fugees.
Ooh.
Remember all that stuff?
Yeah,
And they
love Lauryn Hill.
Phenomenal.
I listened to her yesterday.
And she had all these amazing people in her band. There was Wycliffe. There was Pross. There was they had all. And so out just after the massive success of the Fugees, and I think it was called like the Carnival and like Wycliffe and whatever. One of the guys from the band, Pross, I think I've heard him called Proswell or Pross Michael, but it was Pras, that guy. And he did a song for a Halle Berry movie called Bullworth. And the song was, you'll know the song when I tell you, Ghetto Superstar.
Ghetto Superstar.
That's it. That's the one.
That is what you are.
And they had that wonderful girl sing it, Maya. Mm-hmm. And they just had a little, that didn't last long. Like a lot of those people didn't have massive careers that went decades, but for a minute in the 90s, they were the hottest thing ever. And that song was it was the feel-good hit of the year. Mm-hmm. Ghetto Superstar. Okay.
I'm going to have that song stuck in my head for the rest of the day.
You will. I encourage you to listen to it. So, everybody Google the song if you don't remember what it is. But it was a movie with like Halle Berry and Warren Beatty. I don't think I pronounced either of their last fucking names right. Halle Berry, Warren Beatty. Whatever. Anyway, and the whole story was like he was like a senator that decided like fuck it, I'm going to go to the streets and be real, and he gets in with like the urban crowd or whatever like that, and it was called Bullworth. So, and there's a really great video that has Halle Berry in it and him and Pross, and like it's for the song Ghetto Superstar, and it's amazing. It's a great video. But I just was randomly, because I go back to that song probably at least 2 or 3 times a year, kind of like Return of the Mac. I don't ever go more than 4 or 5 months without really listening to Return of the Mac a lot. There's some classics, okay? Okay, another one of my classics, I'll throw this one out. The song Crush by Jennifer Page. Phenomenal. Anyway, 90s hits. So, like, I'm a huge fan of the song Ghetto Superstar, and most of it is her singing, the girl Maya, and Pross rapping. But there's one verse that's Old Dirty Bastard of the Wu-Tang Clan. God rest his fucking ODB is in the song, and I thought he's in the video too.
I'm gonna have to go back and check that out.
And I was like, damn, ODB, get it. It's fucking good, and it elevates the song a little bit. Well, I was doom scrolling on my phone like we all do, or maybe hopefully you don't, but I'll wake up and just go right to my phone and just scroll for something.
90% of us do.
And it was an interview with Pross, but from now. And it says how ODB accidentally wound up on Ghetto Superstar. And I was like, I got to watch this motherfucker. So I watched the interview. And it turns out, here's how that happened. He was never supposed to be on the song. And they were in a studio in L.A., and ODB just comes busting into the Ghetto Superstar sessions, and he didn't know what studio he was in. Like, the guy was so bombed, that he thought he was in New York at a fucking studio. This is in the words of the producer and the artist. They said he came in. It was like, yo, I'm here. I'm ODB. I'm here. And they were like, what the fuck are you doing here? And he's like, yo, are we at whatever studio? And they're like, no, dude, that's in New York. Where am I? You're in fucking L.A. L.A. Well, what are you working on? And like, they were just figured like, look, play the song for him. We'll get him the fuck out of here. Like, And they play it, and he was like, "Oh, I got to get on this." And they were like, "Oh, dude, come on, man." Like, and he said he really thought we're going to erase this. Just let him go in there. And they said the fucking guy listened to it a couple times, goes into the booth, kills it, fucking cuts it. Didn't even know he was in the same city. Like, he thought he was on the other side of the country. I don't know how the fuck he wound up in LA.
I want to know what drugs. What's he on?
Dude, Wu-Tang. All I can say is shout out fucking Brandon Hudson, Wu-Tang. Literally in the wrong city at the wrong studio, just rolls up and gets a fucking verse on Ghetto Superstar.
Man, that's just how fucking shit happens sometimes.
Yep.
It really is. You're in the wrong place at the right time and you make some shit happen. That's gold.
Yeah.
Platinum.
Fucking one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best like pop rap crossover songs forever, ever. And totally accidentally. But the fact that the guy thought he was in New York and he was in LA, like
the whole thing's different.
Wu-Tang has like a system of tunnels. Like, I thought I came out in New York.
I mean, it's fucking Wu-Tang. They might, man.
You're damn right.
Wu-Tang for life.
Fucking Wu-Tang.
I mean, he's over here in fucking LA with palm trees and it's 70 degrees all the time, sunny, where New York just smells like trash. And you get
well, he even says
river.
He even said at one point, like, the studio he thought he was in, it was a famous studio at the time in New York, and they all recorded there too. But he said, like, it was a totally different, like, you had to go in a building and take an elevator up and all. It was completely different. Like, he would have known easily, I'm not in that studio because there's no elevator, there's no building. And he just rolls up and he's like, "Yo, I'm here. Wait, where am I?" You know? And that became Ghetto Superstar.
I love your impression of him.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, because I'm also a big fan of his song. I forget. Maybe it's "Hey, Dirty Baby, Got My Money." That one, you know. Hey, dirty baby, I got your money. Don't you worry. I said, "Hey," because all through that song he raps like, "Yo, me, now this me, Bob, this about me." You say you got my baby, and I know it ain't mine, or whatever. Is it a good thing? No, it's bad, bitch. Like, he just drops into this like vernacular. I love it. I love the guy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, he's funny. At one point he goes, "FBI, don't you be watching me." So I would imagine he rolled into the fucking studio in LA talking like that. "I'm here to do the track, yeah, me, ODB."
What if he did? That would be amazing. I'm going to have to look this up.
"I'm in New York, you see."
I'm going to have to look this up.
But that's a true story behind Ghetto Superstar. So
Ghetto Superstar.
Everybody go listen to that. Watch that video. The video is fantastic. It's a great 90s looking. It's stylized like a lot of that stuff that happened in the 90s. Like Wyclef was on a fucking tear. They were on a tear. The Fugees were hot. Lauryn Hill was hot. I mean, it was a really, really cool time. Very, very cool time for like rap and R&B. A lot of cool stuff. That's all I got today, bro.
Yeah. Well, we hit on some heavy topics, some things. I would just keep going on, you know, be a spectacle.
Be a spectacle.
You know,
and a skeptical.
Life.
Be
and
a skeptical spectacle.
You know, make better decisions. And don't follow what people say.
That's right. You listening, Cate Blanchett? You beige motherfucker.
No lip motherfucker.
Oh, my.